Summary of Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. As an American prisoner of war, Kurt Vonnegut saw Dresden being bombed with fire and managed to stay alive by hiding in a slaughterhouse. He wants to write a book about it. When Vonnegut calls his friend Bernard O'Hare, neither of them can remember much about the bombing. After that, they go to Dresden and walk around the rebuilt city together. Vonnegut starts the story of Billy Pilgrim, a man who has come unstuck in time and was caught by the Germans during the Battle of the Bulge and held in a slaughterhouse while Dresden was bombed. Two stories start to come together. The first is about Billy meeting Roland Weary, a rowdy fellow soldier, and how they are captured by the Germans and taken to a POW camp by train. They are then taken to Dresden, a city that doesn't seem to be at risk of being bombed by the Allies because it doesn't have a war industry. Weary dies along the way. He blames Billy for his death because the Germans gave him bad shoes that hurt his feet. Other soldier Paul Lazaro hears Weary asking for Billy's death and swears to kill Billy. Edgar Derby is a kind middle-aged soldier who takes care of Billy in the POW camp. He is later put to death for stealing a teapot from the Dresden ruins. In the second story, Billy goes back in time to his time in the war, his childhood, his life after the war, and the time when he was abducted by aliens. He learned how to be an eye doctor, married the daughter of another rich eye doctor, and did well in business. The names of his children are Robert and Barbara. Valencia is his wife. But in the 1960s, Billy almost dies in a Vermont plane crash, and Valencia dies from carbon monoxide poisoning while helping Billy. After his plane crash, Billy says he was taken by Tralfamadorians, who are small, one-eyed, one-handed aliens who have a strange view of time. People who live in Tralfamador say they can see everything that is happening right now, in the past, or in the future. Their four-dimensional view of the world shapes how they think about life, death, and fate, and Billy starts to talk about these ideas in public. In the 1970s, he becomes a famous speaker, and Lazaro sends one of his goons to kill him, just as he promised during the war. While Billy is getting better from a mental breakdown in his last year of optometry school, right after the war, he meets a fellow patient named Elliot Rosewater. Rosewater introduces Billy to Kilgore Trout's science fiction. There are a lot of bold ideas in these books about the future, time, Jesus, and history. Some of these ideas are repeated by the Tralfamadorians and by Vonnegut himself. Billy meets Rumford while he is in the hospital again, this time after his plane crashed. Rumford is a historian and professor who is writing a book about World War II, but has trouble believing that Billy was really there when Dresden was bombed. At Billy's 18th wedding anniversary party, there is a barbershop quartet that makes him think of the 4 German soldiers who stayed with the Americans in Slaughterhouse-Five. Billy is sent back to America soon after the war is over. But before he leaves, Billy and some other prisoners of war take turns pulling out bodies from the rubble and then setting them on fire. Edgar Derby's body is one of the bodies they burn. Vonnegut and O'Hare were also there. By telling this story, Vonnegut has been able to remember details from the war and complete the novel's original goal, which was to show how horrible the bombings in Dresden and war in general were.
About the author. Kurt Vonnegut, Jr. was born in Indianapolis and went to Cornell and other universities to study chemistry and engineering. He joined the U.S. Army as a private and served in the Second World War. During the Battle of the Bulge, the Germans captured him and kept him as a prisoner. Some of the events in Slaughterhouse-Five are based on real events that happened to him in Dresden during and after it was bombed. After the war, he went to the University of Chicago to study anthropology and worked as a reporter for the Chicago City News Bureau. He then moved to New York State to work as a public relations writer for General Electric. You can find these facts in the first chapter of Slaughterhouse-Five as well. Vonnegut was married more than once and had 7 children, 3 of whom were his own and 4 who were adopted. He taught at a number of places, such as the Iowa Writers' Workshop, Cat's Cradle, an older book by Vonnegut, and Slaughterhouse-Five made him famous across the country and gained him many fans. He died in 2007.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.